Today, I am going to speak about deconstruction, a philosophical and literary theory we all know, most famously associated with Jacques Derrida. It essentially challenges the obvious way we look at language and reality. So, this is how we can define deconstruction. So, it is a philosophical approach famously championed by Jacques Derrida. That approach challenges the idea of fixed, absolute meaning in language and logic. It's not exactly destroying a text, but rather showing how it inherently undermines itself. This is how deconstruction works. It is not essentially destruction but rather construction, creating meanings, taking into account the challenges Derrida explicated in his writings. So, how Derrida is challenging the established theories and philosophies. Derrida deconstructs binary oppositions. He targets pairs like speech writing, male female, or nature culture. He deconstructs Western thought tends to organize the world into binary oppositions, two opposite categories. Deconstruction argues that we don't just see these as different, we use them to define what things are by what they are not. What they are not. You can't understand day without the concept of night. Traditionally, one side of the binary is favored as superior or present. So, in these pairs, one side is almost always valued more than the other. For example, speech is often seen as more real or authentic than writing. Reason is often favored over emotion. Reason is often favored over emotions. Deconstruction points out that these hierarchies aren't natural. They are social and linguistic biases. Deconstruction reveals that the inferior term is actually as important as what is called superior terms. So, there is no inferiority or superiority. All the terms are equal and interdependent as far as meaning is concerned. Everything depends upon each other. If you completely remove the concept of failure, the word success would lose all its meaning. How they depend upon each other, you see. How they depend upon each other. There cannot be success without failure. Success gets its meaning from failure, otherwise, it will have no meaning. Deconstruction rejects the idea that central truth exists outside of language. Deconstruction rejects the idea that central truth exists outside of language. We believe that there is universal truth or fixed reality that language just describes. Derrida argues that we can only understand reality through language. Since human made, language is human made, we can never reach a single objective truth. We can never reach single objective truth. Meaning is always deferred, what we say, put off or delayed and based on differences. Meaning is always deferred and based on difference. Derrida coined the term difference, Difference. It means that if you look up a word in dictionary, you just get more words. Meaning is never right there. In the word itself, it is always deferred or delayed to the next word. You only know that red is red because it is different from blue or green. Meaning is never final. It shifts depending on context. This is a kind of contextual shifts. Meaning is never final. It depends upon a context. A word does not have a permanent soul. The meaning changes based on who says it, when they say it, and what is happening around them. A cool breeze is different from cool outfit because context is infinite. Meaning can never be fully locked down. Meaning can never be fully locked down. No word has a stable singular definition in a vacuum. No word has stable singular definition in vacuum because words rely on other words and changing contexts. They are inherently unstable. Deconstruction encourages us to break open text to find a contradiction and multiple meanings hidden beneath the surface, rather than looking for one correct interpretation. Every word carries the echo or trace of what it is not. In deconstruction, a word does not exist in isolation because we define things by their opposites. Binary opposition. The word light only makes sense because it carries a hidden trace of the word dark. Even if you don't say the word dark, it is present. It is present. Even if you don't mention that, it is present in the word which been mentioned there. That allows the current word to have meaning. Aporia, Aporia, the moment of deadlock. This is the moment of deadlock where a text says two things at once. Philosophically known as aporia, this is central goal of deconstructive reading. Central goal of deconstructive reading. It is the point where a text contradicts itself or becomes logically stuck. You can never fully account for every possible meaning because the language is a shifting web of traces and differences. You can never reach a final 100% complete interpretation of a sentence. There is always another perspective and another context or another linguistic connection that could change, that could change the meaning, that could change the meaning. What the writer meant to say is secondary to the text. What the writer meant to say is secondary to the text. Deconstruction shifts focus away from the author's biography or intent, death of the author. It doesn't matter what the writer thought they were saying. What matters is what the words themselves are doing on the page. The text might reveal biases or hidden meanings that the author wasn't even aware of while writing the text. It concludes that deconstruction concludes that the search for meaning is an infinite process. It is an infinite process. Since there is no fixed truth outside of language and words, since there is no fixed truth outside of language and words are always shifting, reading never truly ends. You don't solve a text like a puzzle, you engage in an infinite process of uncovering layers in the text. Meaning is to find the meaning is journey, not a destination. To conclude, deconstruction is reading against the grain. It is looking at what a text does instead of just what it says. It shows that meaning isn't stable or final, but is always being negotiated and contains its own counter arguments. Thank you. Thank you so much.